brothers,
I don't know
sisters,
what the gun thing was.
genders, reasters. Welcome. Listen, I'm destroyed inside. Joey, you made us watch. I can't even do the intro anymore.
You know what? That's
I can't even
fair.
do. I can't even do it because you made us watch the Ang. I'm saying that correctly.
Ang Lee Hulk from 2003. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the comic book.
What a
Rundown
disaster
Rundown
piece.
reviews. I am Joey's tit who just hates us all. I couldn't even come up with anything clever because I was so.
Not even for the movie.
You could have been like the Hulk's ever increasing left tit.
Yeah, I guess that's true. We'll get into that. Anyway, so I started watching this movie right off the bat.
So first off, wait.
Yeah.
Joey, apologize.
Oh yeah, you need to apologize.
No. No, I'm not going to apologize.
Apologize to the fans, not to us, to the fans.
Okay, so here, look. I will say this. I watched this last night, and I put in my group chat for my other podcast. This is how my night is, and it was like a minute clip of the movie, and somebody in there had said something along the lines of it being somewhat okay, or no, I had said my memory had served me like when I watched it the first time. My memory was this was a better movie than I thought it was, and Brent, I know he probably isn't listening, but he's like, "Yeah, your memory is wrong," and I'm like, "You're not wrong there." Is this movie as good as it used to be? No, this movie does not hold up. However, there are some things I liked about this movie.
Was there a moment
was it his mom?
You thought this was okay? Yo, his mom was smoking hot.
Yeah.
Shit.
So was Jennifer Connelly. But when I recall when I saw this movie in theaters,
Yeah.
Coming out of the movie theater and saying, "Oh man, that was a really good movie." Because I'm like, oh, like they went all in with the comic book panel stuff, and they're trying to make it more comic booky.
Oh, see, I really hated that part of this movie.
I understand that. A lot of people did. And so I recalled saying that and then not watching it for 20 years. Like, I haven't seen this movie since theaters.
That's fair.
I remember, even when I watched it again, I thought it was different than all the other superhero stuff we've watched, like, that had come out at that point. So I remember thinking, oh, this is interesting how they're doing this, but it gets old really fast.
It really does. It really does.
Because like as the movie progresses, it just gets more and more and more and more and more
pointless.
Like I also understand, like in comic books, you have an understanding of pacing. Okay, like you'll start in one scene, and then you'll go a couple panels, and then they'll tell you in another page the next day, a week later. It'll give you time. This pacing for this movie was so weird and so off. I got confused numerous times
happened in 3 days, didn't it?
No. I mean, it definitely felt like it because that was what the pacing was supposed to be.
Before we go too far away from this, I'm pretty sure his mom is also the mom from Stranger Things, and she's still smoking hot.
Another writer?
No, the other mom.
Will's mom.
No, not Will's mom. The other kid, Mike's mom.
Really?
Wheeler, Mrs. Wheeler.
Yeah.
No, wait. No, it's the other one. Fuck, I don't know. But she's the blonde mom that you see in the pool scene.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I'm pretty sure it's the same chick, isn't it?
I'm looking it up. Give me a minute.
Oh,
I gotta rewatch Stranger Things to get ready for the last season.
I do too. I don't know when the season's coming out, but
kind of forgot what happened in the last 3. And I remember liking them all. Like I don't think I ever watched it.
Holy crap, you're right.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Karen Wheeler's her name. You're right with Wheeler.
This is one thing that I'm good at is recognizing faces.
Tits? Yeah.
I said faces.
Okay. We know what that meant. We know what that meant.
Yeah, we did. We totally did.
So I started watching this movie. By the way, Ron, Joe are here. I'm Chuck. Welcome to the Comic Book Rundown Presents Reviews. I started watching this movie and going, God, I mean, I'm talking minutes into the movie, and I'm like, holy shit, this is so atrocious. Like this movie suffers from bad storytelling. That's ultimately what hurts this movie.
I'll give you that.
But you can repair the acting, specifically Eric Bana's acting, when you realize Bruce Banner's just autistic. That's the whole fucking thing of this movie. Is Bruce Banner is autistic, which explains exactly why he acts the way he does and has his like emotional issues and disconnect and doesn't know how to regulate and all those things. And when that like clicked him, I don't think it's intentional. I don't think that's what they were trying to do in 2004. Obviously, they were trying to make him some type of weird science edgelord guy. I don't know. But like, I realized like, oh, he literally just has a lot of like characteristics that autistic people have. And he's like super smart, right? But he's like super disconnected and categorized and regimented and all these things. And I was just like, oh, this movie also comes out during a time when the concept of like vaccinations would give you autism was like blowing up everywhere. And there's a part of me that just wonders if like conservative, like anti-vaxxers watch this movie like, we're gonna make it into the Hulk. Autism's making our kids turn into the Hulk. Because literally this dude vaccinates his kid with gamma shit and then like what? Because you know what? When she's a kid and when he's a kid at the base and he like walks in and he got hurt but he's crying or anything, and his mom's just like, yeah, well that's Bruce. Bruce does that. Yes, so does my autistic nephew. Like, what the fuck?
So there is, I mean, I was going to hold off on some of this, but you kind of brought it up. Apparently, there was some stuff that got cut out. I don't know if it got cut out of the, like, actually it would have been like second script. So it never actually made it to the final script. But speaking of that scene where he comes in and, he's hurt, this is coming from IMDb. The movie makes it seem like Bruce quelled his emotions until the gamma sphere accident because of his repressed memory of his mother's death. However, Edith tells her friend Kathleen that Bruce has always been bottled up. So Bruce already had emotional issues. The novelization, which going to be pulling a lot from novelization, which I think I might actually have to read. I don't know.
Why would they turn this into a novelization?
Well, because in the 2000s,
they did it for all the movies.
Every movie had a novelization.
I read the Spider-Man movies had them. The X-Men movies had them.
The Resident Evil movies had them. Punisher had it. I read that one. That was great.
The Resident Evil games have it.
Ooh, those are good.
Those are pretty good. Yeah.
You only got like half. Anyway, hold on. Let me finish this real quick. Sorry. The novelization clarifies that David is responsible for them. When Bruce is 3 years old, Edith catches David taking a blood sample from him. David yanks the hypodermic syndrome. My list is acting up. Hypodermic syringe out of Bruce's arm, making him wail in pain. Seeing parts of Bruce's body distort again causes Edith to faint, making Bruce's crying stop. Seeing an opportunity, David points at Edith and blames Bruce for hurting her by acting out. Then David guilt trips Bruce, warning him that Edith might die next time, and it will be Bruce's fault for getting angry again. David tells Bruce to suppress his anger whenever it comes, unless he wants more bad things to happen. David's words become ingrained in Bruce's mind. David's words becoming ingrained in Bruce's mind helps explain why he later doesn't defend himself against the bully kid Jack and grows up emotionally stunted. So that's their explanation of why he never gets angry. Because apparently if he did, he gets all, limbs extended and everything.
Well, I mean, it showed him like turning green in the movie, like when he was crying as a baby. Which
started to, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This movie was fucking weird. Like, even Even the notes at the beginning, like the opening credit scientific notes, were just a bunch of like garbage.
Mumbo jumbo. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just a bunch of like buzzwords to try to like make it sound important. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
But
even bother to read
none
them.
of it even made sense. Like it was just a bunch of words put together.
with some formulas thrown in there to make it look scientific.
What even real formulas? Also, this movie also suffers from being overbooked. Like there's too many plots, and
Yeah.
if you ask me, you can lift like Bruce Banner's got daddy issues. Like if they had just done it differently, where they just keep the normal story and they just have the gamma bomb go off on him. Like they cut out essentially the first 10 minutes of the entire movie. And then just incorporate like the military aspect, essentially what the Incredible Hulk movie is, because essentially like, the Incredible Hulk movie is the same, right? This would have been a lot more enjoyable, but it gets so convoluted and like stupid and like tried to tie all of these people together, which didn't need to get done anyway. And
I probably
like,
saw you on the base as a kid. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's literally like Star Wars. It's like it's such a big universe, and yet they're trying to tie everything together so everything can kind of be related, and it's real dumb. Also, I know this is 2004, but 2003, but the timeline don't make any sense. Because if he's a kid in like this, if this was like the 60s when he was a baby,
it would have been the 70s, early 70s.
But
they said 30 years. It's been 30 years since
30 years.
They said 30 years. So if he's like 3 or 4 when the accident happens, he's in his early 30s.
But it looks like the 50s. Like I understand that
kind of looks like the late 50s, early 60s. You're correct.
Yeah. So
I was thinking like when they were bombing, or when the gamma bomb went off at the site, we were going to see Indiana Jones's refrigerator fly out, but
that would have been great.
They had tied it all in together. That would have been really sweet. I did my first note in my brain that I wrote was, why is the scientist screaming at a recruiter? Because that's what that looked like. It looked like he went into a recruiting office to get he's like, I'm just a recruiter. I don't know anything. Like it's still, the sets on this were weird.
Yeah.
Like
I also really hate what's the guy's name that plays Bruce?
Eric Bana.
Yeah, I hate his face. I don't know why.
He did a fine job. I thought he did fine.
I just I just hate his face. Like he's one of those. I told you there's like a list of people in Hollywood that I just want to punch him in the face. Because of what their face looks like. He's on that list.
Okay.
To be honest, I don't think I've ever seen something I actually enjoyed.
Is he in anything other than this?
He's done a couple of rom-com stuff. Yeah.
I think he was in a couple other war movies. I think, what was it? There was one movie in particular. Brothers? I don't think it's Band of Brothers.
One of those.
Hold on. Was it Black Hawk Down? Maybe. Oh, he did Troy. I remember that.
Oh yeah.
He was one of the princes, wasn't he?
Something like that. Yeah. Where do we have here? Hulk fighting Nemo. Oh, he's been fighting Nemo.
Okay. Who's he in Finding Nemo?
Anchor? I don't know.
Is it one of the sharks?
Must be.
Maybe.
Oh, Black Hawk Down. He wasn't Black Hawk Down. Okay.
Which one's Black Hawk Down?
2004. They're in a helicopter in
2001.
Was it 2000? Was that 2001?
That was 2001.
Why is everything 2004, Chuck?
Because I feel like everything happened in which is weird. It's usually 94 or 2002, so I don't know why everything. I thought everything was in 4 this. I think I saw it in 2004. Maybe that's why it resonated with me too.
That could be.
Hey, you want to take a guess when Troy came out?
2002?
2001.
That came out in 2004.
Really? No.
Yeah.
Black Down famously gave the line of I don't plan to get shot in the back, and then proceeds to first thing is shot in the back because he doesn't want to put the camera on because it's too heavy. So he's like, well, what are you gonna do if you get shot in the back? And he's like, I don't plan on getting shot in the back. And then ironically, you get shot in the back. That's spoilers.
Yeah, that
for a 20-something-year-old movie. But I don't have a ton of notes, but I have a lot of shit if we want to go through it. Like,
I mean, I got a couple more. I got a lot more.
The dream sequence that Bruce has, where like everything starts going psychedelic and weird and shit. Like, why did we need that?
So allegedly, according to IMDb, Ang Lee was trying to make this movie a less superhero-y and more serious. I don't want to say action, but like a serious psychological look at Hulk.
Well, he failed.
You're not wrong.
It was like he saw that and then was like, yes, I'm going to go the exact opposite direction by doing comic panels.
Yeah.
Like, this looked like a comic. Like, it literally looks like a comic movie. So shoot it like it's not
great.
a comic movie.
Yeah, they were trying to give the comic book feel, which I'll give you a B for trying. You know, that you tried, it didn't really work, but you did try, and there were some scenes that were kind of good.
And then there were scenes that were absolute dog shit, like the dogs,
literal dogs.
What the fuck was up with the dogs?
Well, hold on, but there's a lot to talk about dogs because they were terrible.
Kind of like the dogs, but
like according to a lot of the IMDb, they had filmed so much because they wanted to do the comic panels. They had to do the scenes over and over and over again from a different angle every single time. The first transformation scene with Eric Bana, Bruce transforming into the Hulk in his lab. Apparently, they had to film that like 5 or 6 different times, and Eric Bana was like, "This is killing me, literally killing me." So he was not happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, if you get exposed to that much gamma radiation that many times, it probably would kill you.
No. His transformation, not him getting exposed. That's only 4 times they had to film that, so it's fine.
So I have a really important question about the acting roster. How did Nick Nolte end up as a better actor than Eric Bana?
Nick Nolte is full-blown, like, famous shot drunk, like, acting in this movie. You can tell that he did not want to do this, but he threw so much fucking money at him. He was just like, all right, fuck it. I'm just gonna do this and collect the pay.
Wrong. Actually, he was really excited to work for Ang Lee.
Okay.
So he wanted to do this movie.
Explain it, because I hear a lot of people talk about Ang Lee specifically and like, oh, it's an Ang Lee movie. What else has Ang Lee directed that is like that makes it a good thing that he was on this movie, like for this movie?
So that's a great question.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Never seen it.
Neither have I. Chosen, which I guess was a short.
I saw Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and I remember that being gangbusters good. I remember a lot of people loving it. So I guess, and that would have been, that was 2001.
2000.
Was it really? Oh my god.
Yep.
Okay.
Sense and Sensibility. I never watched it, but that's
another one I heard of it.
It's like a book made in a thing. But that's all before Hulk. Okay. Ride with the Devil, the Ice Storm.
What did he make after the Hulk?
After the Hulk, he did Brokeback Mountain. He did Life of Pi. Gemini Man.
Yikes!
I've never seen any of these.
That's the Will Smith movie where Will Smith is fighting himself.
Yep.
It's not bad. It's just long.
I mean, I know Brokeback Mountain got a lot of praise. Life of Pi got a lot of praise.
Yeah, because they're not action movies.
Correct.
So like he
I know. I heard there was some action in Brokeback Mountain.
Well,
fair. But like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, like that is a movie that spawned a lot of, I don't want to say spin-offs, but like
specifically, it's a kung fu movie though.
Sure.
Which is shot a lot differently than like a normal.
You're correct. That is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like maybe he knows how to shoot like martial arts really, really well and put together a story. The story is also simple and well put together, and a lot of the storytelling is done in the action. It's actually great. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend it. It's just a really good martial arts movie. I think one of the first. It was just after Matrix, and they were really using like the wire, like
yeah, yep, or like same year or something like that.
Yeah. So it's a really good movie, and I remember liking it a lot as a kid because it was just cool kung fu stuff. But I get why he stopped doing action movies after the Hulk. Like he needed to redeem himself, and obviously he can't do action stuff.
The bad reviews, according to IMDb, the bad reviews almost made him stop directing. Like because this movie just got panned so terribly.
Maybe he should have done a better job of directing this one then, huh?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. But like again, I enjoyed some of the acting. Like the acting toward the end when Nick Nolte is standing there like yelling. Well, the scene with Nolte and Bana where it's Bruce and David at the base, and he's like, I don't know, yelling at him. Like I really enjoyed that scene. Like
that was just Nick Nolte acting like Nick Nolte, though.
I mean, sure, but I enjoyed it. Like again, some of this acting was good. Not a lot of it was though. Like I mean, the movie has its little moments that I enjoyed.
Sure, but they're
none of them being the
dog
Hulk.
Shit.
I'll say none, but that's the thing. None of them actually being the Hulk. So when the movie's called Hulk, and Hulk is not a good part of the movie.
Well, I mean, the fucking Hulk looked like a child. Like his legs weren't even the right length for an adult's legs. Like it looked like a baby wandering around on the set. It was dumb. It was terrible. They could have spent like 10 seconds, proportioning him out to actually make him look. He looked like the version of the Hulk that you would see on like a little kid's cartoon show.
Yeah, Superhero Squad. Okay. He looks
like
Superhero Squad.
Yes, that one right there. That's exactly
what a better version of Hulk. Like that's actually a really good version of Hulk. That's a great show. I know it's for little, but it's written for adult, like hardcore. It's good.
Most of the animation stuff nowadays is though, if you're being honest.
Yeah, but this was like on Nick Jr. time.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, but just like a lot of like tongue in cheek adult jokes in it, and it's just I'm impressed with it. So are we gonna talk about the scaling nonsense?
About the what?
Hulk? The scaling nonsense of the Hulk?
Oh Jesus.
So
yeah. So the madder he gets, the bigger he gets.
This is a power he had though. This was part of his power.
There is something like that in the comics.
Right. But not
to this extent.
Yeah, not egregious. This was absurd. He and not only that, but the scaling still is not correct because at times he's just as angry as he is other time. He's the size of a fucking house, and then other time he's like just wide. It didn't make like it's like they ran out of money or something.
So according to IMDb, and I'm referring to a lot of IMDb stuff here, obviously, the Hulk grows taller as he gets angrier in this movie. The Industrial Light and Magic animators thus made 3 different Hulks that Ang Lee likened to development stages. The first one, he's 9 feet tall, 2.7 meters in his first scene, which represents his infant toddler stage, which is why when he's bursting through the lab, he has no idea what he's doing because it's a new form, and that's why he's busting everything up. He becomes 12 feet tall, 3.6 meters The second time, representing the medium-sized teen Hulk, he has a little bit better understanding of what he's doing, but still not perfect. So, like when he's fighting the dogs, it's kind of out there in the way he's handling himself.
His fight with the dogs was like watching a video game where somebody didn't know how to do anything, so they're just mashing buttons.
There you go.
And then the dogs would disappear.
Well, we'll
like
get to the dogs.
Video game boss.
We're going to talk about the dogs. I want to talk about the dogs. Then his final stage, he grows to 15 feet tall, 4.5 meters, the third and fourth times as the adult Hulk who's in control. And he had a better control of himself by that time. My scrutiny, though, my complaint is if it's been 3 days, like you joked about earlier on, although I feel like it's been maybe a week, you're not going to have an understanding of what the hell your body's doing in a week. So I don't care who you are.
You don't feel like they summed that up in some stupid dream sequence with him?
I mean, they might have summed it up in the novelization that I didn't read.
But again, I shouldn't have to read a novelization to understand it from the movie.
Agreed.
No, you're right.
Stupid.
It's scenes that got cut out or things that weren't explained.
So,
that is terrible.
Okay, when they go back, this is something else that I just was thinking about when his mom, when he goes back and he relives the memory of his mom dying. So she walks right past him out the screen door or their glass door or whatever, and then she reaches towards the explosion, and it doesn't make any fucking sense. What was she reaching for? What was she trying to accomplish there?
I forgot about that whole scene. I fully expected when he goes back to the base as an adult and he opens the door to Betty, I fully expected her dead body to still be in there.
Or like the skeleton of it or something.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I expected that because I could definitely see the MPs not giving a shit about her because she's dead and just like arresting David the entire time. But no, you're right. That made no sense whatsoever. I mean, yeah, she protected her son, and then David kind of like, oh, I killed my wife. And she, instead of doing anything else, wanders out into the desert. I mean, at that point in time, maybe David should have then killed his son, but
he had regrets then,
Sure, but he regretted killing his wife. He could still kill his son. Also, allegedly, in the in novelization, David, once Edith finds out what he did, which, again, he did it to himself, she then got pregnant, which passed the genes on to Bruce. But once she figures out what's going on, apparently she was kind of like stupid mad at David to the point of taking Bruce and leaving, that she basically tells him, you need to find a cure. So when Ross comes in and he's working on a cure and then basically kicks him out of the military, we finally, off the military base, that gives a better understanding of why he's pissed off enough to set off a nuclear explosion at the military base versus he just got fired and I'm mad.
Yeah, exactly. But that's
again something that should have been explained in the movie and not in the book.
Exactly. Also, the whole last fight sequence between Bruce and David, where he keeps turning into different elements.
The Absorbing Man.
Is that what he was supposed to be?
That's what he's supposed to be.
Yeah, he's supposed to be Absorbing Man. It's really
Gotcha.
annoying. I don't think Absorbing Man was a Hulk villain.
He is.
Is he?
Is he?
So yes, he actually is. Carl Creel is his name. He's a Hulk villain. I think because we read him in Daredevil, maybe. No, I might be thinking of Stuntman.
Stuntman.
I thought we read it. I thought that was in a Fantastic Four one.
That could be it too. But back in the 70s, I mean, how many times did we read a Spider-Man villain in a Fantastic Four book or an Avengers book or a Daredevil book or like back then villains weren't limited to just their heroes. Like they weren't like Joker is a Batman villain. Like he specifically stays with Batman, fighting against Batman. unless he wants to go off and fuck with Superman. In
like murdering
the
his family and
70s,
stuff.
basically. That's a whole different thing. But like in the 70s, they just didn't care. Like, oh, we have a villain available, we're gonna throw him in this book, and that's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, that actually makes more sense.
Yeah, you have these stories to play with.
Universe makes the universe feel cohesive. You know what I mean? It's not like universe independently of each other. I always have appreciated that about Marvel, and I wish DC kind of did it more. But
yeah, I mean, I understand the keeping your own rogues gallery for that title, but I know now if it's not a event book, no one's they don't do that, you know, like, and even now with Marvel, I don't think they do that anymore. I could be wrong. I haven't read a Marvel in a while.
They do it. They do something a little different where they just randomly stick in old characters that were like one-offs or whatever and bring them back for some random reason. Just write them out. I noticed that they've been doing that a lot lately. Just like characters from like the 70s and 80s. Like, what if we just brought this guy back for like, just stick him in the background for no reason for like 4 panels?
I mean, shit. Back in like the 2000s and even the early 10s, DC was doing that with random characters and making them big deals for a hot minute for their events. Like
Marvel did. I mean, I always look at the first Civil War for Marvel. They were just bringing out every single person they could find. Like, yeah, no, that dude's like against it. This one's for it. Like,
yeah.
Just so we can, just so we can actually shoot somebody in the head. Mainly was
man.
Let's bring back Stan so he can shoot him in the dick with a rocket launcher. Like, oh man, it's still my favorite ever. It's one of my favorite issues ever. Anyway,
did you guys and now Josh Lucas, I think is his name, the Matthew McConaughey wannabe. This was another Talbot was his name. He was the military guy that was
that was like the businessy dude.
Yeah.
That he broke in like a bunch of pieces and then he kept picking on him and got broken even more until he got exploded.
That man should not have been walking around after Hulk shoved him into the street.
That was
through a wall,
through a banister. Through a wall,
there
and then through a banister.
Moments. There's moments in this movie where, like, when you said like that he wanted this to be like an action thriller with like Hulk, but then you have just this stupid, comically hilarious, like, this man is injured. His leg was broken, his arm was broken, his head bandaged, and he's gonna go extract the sample from Hulk.
Yeah.
And then he says the cheesiest line ever when he goes to like load the fucking missile into the grenade launcher. I don't even remember what he said, but like, also stupid because he was like, non-lethal damage, nobody mess with him. They're like, do you want us to release the goo? He's like, no, the goo won't work, whatever that even meant. Nobody has any idea because we didn't get to see it. Why Hulk can bust through solid cement walls with ease, but gets like blasted with like spermicidal foam and just can't move?
I think because the foam is supposed to restrict your movements. Like it expands as you try and like wiggle out of it, similar to like Chinese finger trap or something. I don't know.
Oh, like so it's like the foam in Demolition Man when he wrecks the car. Instead of like having an airbag, the foam fills up the whole car to keep him from moving at all. Is that what you're talking about?
I was thinking more of, you know how the villains always say, like, when they capture you in some like foam thing, it's like, oh, the more you struggle, the tighter it gets, or something like that. Similar to that,
like
thing.
quicksand.
Well, sort of like quicksand. The more you struggle, the quicker you sink. But I believe that foam is, and that's foam that is actually used by military, police. Like, I mean, well, let me rephrase that. It's foam that the military and police can use, but they don't.
Because that would make too much sense. So just
exactly non-lethal shit.
Yeah.
So my assumption is, that stopped his movement. He can't go anywhere.
But it turned to rock. He
got angry. He got angry, and then once it turned rocket, he got bigger and broke.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that's
which also allegedly that scene. that scene apparently was more gruesome in, I think, like the second draft or the novelization, where instead of a rocket launcher that Talbot grabs, he just unloads like an AK-47 or some like gun
Assault
onto
rifle?
him. Yeah, and the bullets just come back, just tear him to pieces after they bounce off a Hulk. So
Probably
That would've been
couldn't
really
get the PG rating on that one.
it's a PG-13. This movie is a PG-13.
Is it?
Yeah.
It felt very PG.
Nah, somebody said fuck at least once in it. I feel like there was enough. No.
Was it Sam
I
Elliott?
don't remember. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Wouldn't surprise
I don't
me.
know. It just
I
don't know.
I kept thinking I kept remembering his role in Ghost Rider the entire time I'm watching this movie. And I'm like, yeah, Ghost Rider's after this, right? Yeah, it's after this. It just felt weird.
I hate when they do that. I hate when they recast people to play characters in movies where it's
In the same like universe, but not.
Yeah.
But
in
they're
the
different,
same-
like, because Ghost Rider was this is
This was
Universal.
Universal. It's on Peacock.
and I believe Ghost Rider is Fox. So
but still, like,
no, maybe not.
just continuity
It's just like
purposes.
the Human Torch being Captain America, that type of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. It just bugs me. I don't know. Yeah, it's like a whole thing. Anyway.
Okay.
This is the fight. Honestly, the fight scenes were okay. The stuff that I like Hulk. Hulk is a character, but I only need one thing from him: to smash shit. And he smashed a lot of shit in this movie, and it's pretty good. I liked it. Like, there was some, like, when he's like ripping the banks apart was like really funny to me. I enjoyed that. I like when he was like what I didn't like was the gamma jump, the gamma leap, because it doesn't make any sense. He just like barely get a running start and he just launches apparently continents because they also can't keep the continuity, like what the geographical terrain is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
desert mountains to sand dunes, which does not happen at all. So I don't know.
Yeah, especially if they were. So he's in Berkeley. That's the university that him and Betty work at.
Yeah.
And
then they take him to Arizona, right?
He's in the middle of the desert. So Nevada, Arizona, that area.
New Mexico.
I don't know. Maybe.
There's a lot of military bases in New Mexico.
So okay, that sure. That like so he's in that
area. There's no sand dunes. There's no sand dunes.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I'm agreeing with you. Like this is the area is not right.
Mm-hmm.
Because then, like, even her cabin, Betty's cabin that he goes to with the dogs that attack. I mean, it's
that was up in Oregon.
Nowhere. Is that Oregon?
Yeah, that was like North California.
Yeah, like that was. Yeah.
Okay.
It was up Washington, Oregon way, you know.
But that's another,
which apparently was like a jump and a half away for him. Like,
yeah,
sure,
from where he was.
Yeah, from where he lived. Sure. But then like that scene right there. There's a moment when he's fighting the dogs and he leaps in the air to the top of this redwood tree.
Yeah.
And then like I don't know. Yep. But I do want to talk about dogs. So let's talk about dogs. Like what?
Yeah, I know you guys want to talk about that.
They were fucking stupid looking.
I liked the dogs. There's a lot. Listen, we thought Conan's bad with like animal abuse. You better have put them like. How are we counting animal deaths in this? Because a lot of animals died in this movie.
I think I had 5 animals dying before the first person died. Like before they showed the first person dying.
Yeah.
But the dogs look okay. These dogs were on par with the fucking Milo from The Mask. Like that's how silly and stupid they looked.
Oh, but Ron, how can you say that? This was supposed to be an action thriller based in the Hulk universe, not a comic movie.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, yeah, get it right, Ron. They're realistic.
They're
for Hulk dogs.
I don't know.
I just find it funny that
That rat that he injected looked more realistic only because it was literally a dog in a covering in the cage.
But okay, even then, like the breeds of dog that he chose. So you
he had a
had
poodle.
you had a like a pit bull,
Mm-hmm.
you had a bulldog,
yeah,
and then a fucking poodle.
Which was more vicious than the bulldog and the pit bull.
Yeah, actually, have you ever actually had to deal with a fucking poodle before?
No,
poodles are cunt. Yeah,
they're the worst.
But it should have been a Chihuahua.
Actually, that's
because
true.
they're the meanest little assholes of a dog there ever was.
Yeah.
And I mean, the poodle was okay, but like, I just don't understand what he was going for when he chose the dogs, and why they listened to him like
obediently.
Well, I mean, like they had human level intelligence.
Because he probably was. I mean, he was obviously like
still doing like
working on
dumpster
them.
experiments.
Yeah,
like,
experimenting.
It's like, how come these 3 dogs didn't fucking die, but everything else has?
Yeah.
Are we like? Did we inject him with Bruce's shit? Like, do you know?
Yeah, that's the whole point. He did inject them with.
But even before that, those dogs were.
They were already mean prior, yes, but he injected them with because he got the hair sample, sliced up the hair sample, and then snorted it
with a line of coke. Yeah,
probably that too. To then make them Hulk dogs, if you will. Which, if you saw after he killed the poodle, like smashed the poodle's head through Betty's car window, the one the eye started drooping, melting. Because it was unstable. Like the dogs were going to die regardless. According to IMDb, that scene, they were supposed to show the dogs melting into nothingness.
But then just giving a poofs of green smoke instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I enjoy that Hulk smashed the fuck out of that dog and it just sprayed green shit. Which I also was struggling to tell the difference between the pit bull and the bulldog.
Yeah,
I thought he
I couldn't either.
I thought he smashed, and then all of a sudden, the next scene, something was jumping on his back, biting him, and I was like, "Didn't he just kill that thing? Like what? This thing regenerates from sludge, from goo? Like I was very confused."
Oh, that's because he used part of Wolverine's DNA in it too.
Oh, that actually would make a lot of sense. That'd make a lot of sense.
Let's see.
I actually just watched a thing on TikTok that was like the guy who created Wolverine. I can't give his name now. I think it was Kirby. Check.
I don't think Kirby was. I think he was already done with Marvel by that time. It was the 80s.
I don't remember. Somebody that was talking about it. Never intended to have the claws come on his hands. It was his gloves. Like the gloves were antimanium gloves. And the blades folded in on themselves.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
yeah. That would have been a lot cooler.
He found out that they were going to change it when we found out they were going to change it.
Oh,
like because he wasn't writing Wolverine anymore. He had left or something like that, and they changed it. Okay. It was interesting. He's like, yeah, I just thought it was a little disrespectful that they didn't tell me that they were changing my character. It was funny. Anyway. Any other things you want to point out, Joey? Specifically,
Ron, I covered all the things that I thought were dumb.
Let's see here. Oh, what happened to that pilot that took Hulk into space?
Oh, he died.
Oh, he just lost control and flew back to space. Yeah,
he flew back to the ground really fast.
Yeah, like a lot.
A lot.
Wouldn't it be funny if all the Hulk grunts were actually just Wilhelm screams at different pitches the entire time?
I also have props to this interpretation of General Ross in particular for recognizing Betty as an asset for Bruce versus just always trying to get her away from Bruce. He saw, not that he was using her as bait, but he saw that Bruce had the connection with Betty and was like, all right, well, she is going to be the one to actually have to calm him down to get him to stop raging. At the same time, leave the man be. Like, none of this stuff would have happened if the military didn't step in to try and take it away, ever in any of the Hulk interpretations. It's always, you're a weapon of the military. We're going to put you away and use you when we need to use you. And I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. The guy who plays Betty's dad in this,
Sam Elliott.
Is he also in Incredible Hulk? Is it the same?
No, that's
No.
Oh crap, what's his name? He just passed away last year. I forget his name. Can't remember. Hold on.
But Sam Elliott, because like Sam Elliott's in a lot of stuff, and he's like widely
William Hurt.
regarded
That's what it is. William Hurt.
As being like one of the best ever, right?
I don't know.
I mean, he was pretty cool in Roadhouse.
Yeah, like he has a very distinct voice.
Oh yeah,
and he was in Tombstone.
Yeah, he does a lot of like Western style, acting. Like he's a great actor.
Is he in the? He's in the like 1883 and the other one and
Yellowstone, all that.
Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't surprise me.
He's in Big Lebowski. Oh, he's in Ghost Rider.
I said that earlier.
I know. I thought you were. I remember about the other guy.
Oh,
shit. I thought you were talking about the warmonger.
Yeah, no, he was the other Ghost Rider.
Yeah, my brain died, Joey. What me? He also is in one of the most disappointing movies I've ever seen in my life, which is The Man Who Killed Hitler and Bigfoot.
Never seen it.
Never seen it. Never heard of it.
I mean, the title itself, you think, wow, this is going to be a ridiculously over-the-top rad movie about a guy who was the dude who killed Hitler and then gets hired to go hunt Bigfoot because Bigfoot is actually like dying, and because Bigfoot's dying is radiating like all this sickness off his body. And that's the premise of the movie. It is so slow and depressing of a movie. There's nothing's good about it.
Okay.
And you're just sitting there like, this isn't like a over the top weird grindhouse movie. This is like a weird sad.
Why are you making me sad? You're supposed to make me happy.
Like, oh man, this dude, I don't want to ruin it if anybody wants to go watch it. Very disappointed when I watched it because I just want cool violent shit. I wanted hobo with shotgun, but it was a Bigfoot. That's really what I wanted. It's not what I got.
That's fair. Yeah. There is apparently there was the second draft of this movie. I want to read it because this actually sounds like a better version, and I really wish we really got this version.
Give us the Zack Snyder cut.
Yep. In the second draft, an accident at Gamma Base leads to Bruce, his colleague Samuel Stearns, aka the leader, and another man named Curtis getting exposed to gamma radiation, with Bruce saving Talbot in the process. The three slowly show signs of mutation. Bruce goes on the run with Betty after becoming the Hulk. Meanwhile, the transforming Stern experiments on ex-Air Force Ops team member Carl Creel, turning him into the Absorbing Man. Continuing his experiments, Stern develops a plan to wipe out half of Earth's population to save humanity from sending itself into oblivion and help the world start over with himself leading the survivors. There was another part of the script where Bruce and Betty are being in their 20s. Talbot is a major working under General Ross. Sam Stern, except becomes the leader. Creel as Absorbing Man. Bruce and Betty go on the run. More Betty and Hulk scenes, and a scene featuring the Grey Hulk. The screenplay has moments of body horror, humor, more action scenes, and pop culture references. There are also nods to the comics, Bruce's full name, Tales to Astonish, Gamma Base, Bruce's abusive father, Bruce fearing that he shares his dad's temper, Bruce pondering suicide to rid himself of the Hulk, which I know is a major element in a lot of the Hulk books, and sequences of the Hulk as the monster hero, threatening and then saving people. The Gamma Sphere carried over the final film, though it's 50-foot big and suspended from the ceiling in the script. So does the Hulk fighting the army in the desert and him growing taller as his rage does. So that carried over to this film. Bruce and Betty fleeing the army and a scene of Bruce falling from a great height to force a transformation, which kind of became part of the Incredible Hulk. I was about to say something. Oh, like that's something we didn't really see in this movie. We didn't really see the Hulk being the hero. We had the one moment when he saved the pilot from crashing into the bridge, and then obviously the moment of him saving Betty, but that's really more of a selfish reason because
right before
Betty,
he tries to choke her out. Yeah,
which is another scene that it apparently was supposed to build into, like, Bruce himself liking the fact of him killing these creatures. But they didn't dive into that.
So it wasn't that he wasn't listening to Betty for her safe word. It was
basically, yeah. Yeah. So
I do know this movie was shown a lot on FX, on DVD, on TV. And one of the things
did they explain where Harper goes? Because he just fucks off after the gamma radiation thing. Cool.
Nope.
Cool.
Were they supposed to? Do you feel like they were probably setting up for a sequel? That's why they were going to bring him in back.
I feel like they might have been, but I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Did I miss it? Where they like make Leader into? Or am I thinking
that's Incredible Hulk?
Okay. For some reason, for a minute, I was because the jet fighter scene too, where they were like they take him up into the atmosphere or whatever, where the air is really super thin. I remember that being a scene, but I remember that happening like the first encounter, not towards the end.
Okay.
So I was just like, am I starting to think of like scenes I remember from this actually being all from the Incredible Hulk? But then we got to the Jet Fighter, which I remember thinking that was like really cool when I first watched it.
I loved the Incredible Hulk when it first came out. Specifically because that one I think I like better than this one. Again, I hadn't seen this one. This is only the Incredible Hulk comes out in 2009. That's only 5-year difference, 6-year difference. So like that's not that long of a time. But because of the connection to the MCU. So that's one I watched more often because anytime I did the MCU rewatch, especially in those early days, I'm like,
I forgot that was part of the MCU.
Well, a lot of people did because it wasn't on Disney Plus forever.
Would that make it the first movie of the MCU then?
Second. It actually came out after Iron Man.
Did it?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, because Tony Stark walks in,
that's right.
The first credit scene and walks in. He's like, "So I have a whole problem."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I forgot where I was going with all this. Anyway, this movie sucks.
Yeah, I can agree to that. This is a terrible movie.
It's poor writing.
True, we have seen worse.
I don't know, because the entire time I was watching it, it was like, is this worse than Catwoman? I don't know. I think it's on par with Catwoman.
See, I disagree.
Once I kind of realized that Bruce is just autistic, I started to that started to light up for him. And the action, legitimate fight scenes weren't terrible. They were okay. If you can get past the size bullshit nonsense,
yeah,
it's still it's still Hulk. He's incredible, some would argue. And the Lou Ferrigno was kind of nice. That was a nice little
the Lou and Stan. Apparently that was all ad-libbed by Stan Lee.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. I did enjoy that. That was kind of the first time we really started to realize that they were just going to do cameos of Stan Lee and everything.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have him in X-Men 2, which we just watched.
Right.
He was in Daredevil, but It was just
Yeah.
a one quick scene of not walking in the middle of the street. And I
Right.
mean, he was in Spider-Man, so
Yeah.
like I would agree that Hulk was probably the cement of like, oh, Stan is going to be in he's cameoing everything now, which is
Yeah.
fine, totally fine.
I think I feel like I also saw an interview one time, and maybe it was when this movie was coming out, so he was just pandering. I don't know. I remember him saying that he's always had like a fondness for Hulk specifically, and like always kind of
I mean, he
held
was in the old Lou Ferrigno Hulk also.
Yeah,
right.
that was his
Like
first appearance.
there was like a part of
in
him that
movie.
like has always held like a special place, like in his heart, like for Hulk, and that he's kind of always Hulk more than he's liked a lot of the other characters that he helped
I know
create.
Spider-Man was his baby, but yeah, I
Yeah.
believe you're right. I believe Hulk was one of those that he created. It was the time he created it was, in the 60s. It was, a lot of the gamma bombs, well, really just bombs in general,
Yeah.
were the scare. So, I do like how they've morphed it into in the recent years of like, oh, we're trying to find a super soldier serum, and so they're doing this route, and this is what the result of those testing was. Like I like how they all kind of try and weave it all together to try and find the next Captain America.
Right.
Versus when it came out in the 60s, it was just like, no, we just want a new crazy hero of sorts.
Yeah. Interesting.
So,
All right.
but all right,
I'm gonna do superlatives.
sure could. Kill counts got
Yeah,
a
well,
total of 11, and like 5 or 6 of those are animals.
only 11?
Not according to IMDb, they only had 8 because they did not count all of the animals that, like the frog and the other
exploding
animals were
frog.
killed at the beginning. So, yeah, 11.
Interesting. So,
Let's hear it.
a man who just ran around causing just so much property damage, literally colliding into buildings. Fraction of what Batman has murdered.
Yep, there it is. There it is.
That
We didn't see anybody like the building, him smashing in the buildings. I didn't see people like all. What
It was
really
a
got
Saturday,
me was
nobody was in
the
there.
tank that he ripped, like busted up and then threw.
He did
I'm
shake guys out.
Those
Like,
no, that was on a different one. There was one, that first tank he just tossed, and like those guys are dead. I don't give a shit. Like they are barreling over and over again. They're dead. And then when Hulk is jumping out, you see the one guy out of 3, like, oh man, I'm fine. And then like every other time, oh, we're okay, we're okay. Like, no, I'm sorry. Those guys are dead.
No, they're fine. There was foam in the tanks.
Yeah, I count them as dead. So
spermicidal foam. They were fine.
Anyway,
keeps them alive. Use it for
bingo.
something.
What we got for a bingo?
Everybody's
All right. So, unexplainable science, government interference, comic book logic, origin reveal, dead parents at the end, 2 cameos, animal cruelty, inability to control powers, Wilhelm screams, actor playing himself, villain monologue, hero kills, nudity and implied nudity, and fight for control of something.
Who is the actor playing himself?
Nick Nolte.
Yeah,
that's not wrong.
That's fair.
Lou Ferrigno.
Lou Ferrigno, yeah.
Sure, we'll go with that one.
Oh, speaking of cameos, at the very end of the movie where he's in the like Colombian or whatever, like
the jungle or whatever,
yeah, jungle. Is there a quick shot of Pedro Pascal like he picks up one of the children?
I don't think so. I would have to go back and check, but I don't think that's
I
Pedro Pascal.
swear to God, I thought that was Pedro Pascal.
It could be.
Like, what the hell was he doing in this movie?
It could be.
Maybe he was just like an extra or something. I don't know. It's very
Back
confusing.
then, he would have been very.
Because I also thought it was Bruce. Like at first, I was like,
I mean, that'd be real. Instead of going and saving people,
like,
he's like he joins the mafia military or whatever.
Yeah. Also doesn't make any sense. I love how he still can't find any like sort of personality or anything because he's just standing there with the worst looking beard I've ever seen. I mean, just atrocious. And
it's because they made it out of everybody else's pubes.
Ew.
Yeah, it looked like it. It didn't look great, and he's just like making me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry, and it's just like, okay.
Hey,
Right,
leave the autistic guy alone, Chuck. Jeez.
I know. I should
Chuck,
do
what's
that.
your Spawn Cape continuum?
Man, this done. The practical effects look good. See, everybody's gonna shit on the dogs and say the dog or what nuke score. No, I'm gonna
The
go with
Hulk.
the rubber-looking Hulk.
Yeah.
Like, there's a ton of it, and his face looked
He
bad.
wasn't actually the Hulk. He was Stretch Armstrong, but green.
They actually
Yeah,
don't ever.
kinda.
They don't ever actually call him the Hulk in the movie. That's the other thing. He at one point, Bruce
He does.
says
He says, "I
Bruce,
turn into this big Hulk creature."
yeah, but he doesn't actually call him the Hulk. Like he's
True.
never referred to as the Hulk. So just pointing that out there. Whereas in Incredible Hulk, I think he's called that a few different times. Obviously, in the MCU proper, he's Hulk left and right. So
Yeah, they finally like gave him a name. He's named Hulk. Yeah.
But anyways, Spawn Cape.
He looks bad. Looks real bad. I know the DVD on TV. There is a like behind the scenes where they explain how they shot the part of the cabin where like trying to calm him down, and he's like picking her up and stuff. And they just drew his face on a piece of cardboard, like on a giant stick, and like moved it around so she knew where to look.
Yeah.
Which
great.
is like really fucking hilarious to me. Because it still didn't work at all. Like bad. I'm gonna say like 39 out of 128 Spawn Capes.
Okay.
Not great.
That's fair.
Not great. It doesn't
Also,
look good.
I mean, also you also want to talk about some bad CGI. The blood when it's coming out of David's hands. Look, it reminded me of sort of the blood coming out of what's his name in Blade, the first Blade movie.
Yeah, except for that was 1999, and
exactly.
It still looked better. Still looked better.
Like that's not good. That you've gone 5 years and the CGI still looks bad.
But the part where he's like moving, when Nick Nolte's like moving his hand in the metal,
that looked good.
That looked really fucking rad.
Yeah,
that's because it wasn't actually metal; it was cake.
That makes sense. Cake, actually. And like that's like the best acting he's ever done of like struggling to get his hand through exactly how he should have moved his hand in metal. You know what I mean? Like he really.
It's because he was tripping in that scene. They actually gave him psychedelics, so he thought his hand was going through it.
There's one thing I forgot to mention, which see if I can find it without actually. Maybe I can't. Whatever. There was a scene where Bana is with Nick Nolte, and he sees like he's breathing an oxygen machine. He has like this oxygen machine, and Nick Nolte turns to Eric Bana and is like, "I don't really need this, but if they think I do, it makes me crazy or something like that. They won't mess with the crazy guy." So he's huffing oxygen this entire movie. So yeah, like this man's just Nick Nolte. He's just doing Nick Nolte shit in this thing.
Yeah, that tracks. That makes sense.
Bonkers.
Yeah. I also love that he's physically capable of biting through a just gigantic thick cord to get to the electricity.
Right?
Yeah, that was ridiculous. He bites through it, bites into the cord, and they're like, "Oh, fucking throw the switch. This is out of control." Like, it didn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
I think at that point in time, Ross just wanted to see what would happen if he was biting the cord when he got electrocuted.
Maybe. Yeah. Probably.
He's just at that point, he was just like, I don't even care if these people live anymore. Fuck, we're just fucking a gun. Like, I'm done.
Love it. All right, so that brings us to our score. Chuck, what do you give this out of 10?
All right, is this a Hulk movie? Yeah, I guess. I mean, it is realistically the most Hulk movie. It's Hulk smashing shit and not terribly great writing, which I find a lot with Hulk. I find Hulk to be a really fun character when he's in other movies, but when it's his own movie, he's not. He's a very hard character to write. The acting is not great. The story is really bad. It's convoluted. It doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. They try to tie things together. You telling me that they wanted this to be an action thriller makes it worse for me in my brain. I don't know why, but it's like,
I can agree to that.
yeah, if you didn't tell me that, I would have been like, yeah, this is just your typical like 2000s like action comic book movie. Did I hate it worse than Catwoman? I don't think so. But I definitely didn't like it as much as I'm gonna. What did I give? I gave a 1.9 to Attack of the Clones. I'm gonna say a solid 2.1.
Okay.
A solid 2.1.
A solid 2.1.
Pretty solid.
Yeah. Because
Are you sure it's not a liquid?
No, it's a solid. It's the foam.
You gave. Okay. It's the foam.
It's the foam. Yeah, it's a foamy 0.1.
Okay, that one I'll take. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Ron, what do you got?
Okay, so unlike, oh, sorry, phone tipped over. The cat keeps hitting it.
What?
I didn't really like this movie. I found it terrible. Like terrible acting, terrible story, terrible progression. Even like the scenes where he's smashing shit, the Hulk itself takes away from those scenes because it looks so crappy.
Okay.
Yeah.
His mom being hot still doesn't help. I mean,
but Jennifer Connelly
boobs.
I mean, Jennifer Connelly is also attractive. Like she's got those eyes. But so I will give 1 point for each attractive woman in this. So it's a 2.
That's fair. That's fair.
Interesting.
This movie,
while it was a movie,
not the greatest, I will 100% agree with that. I normally I try to have fun with this stuff. This one there were some fun scenes, and like I said earlier, there's some things I liked in it, but there's a lot that I didn't like. But it kind of evened itself out, if I'm being honest. Like some of the fun was fine, but well, maybe it didn't even out. A lot of the bad was maybe outweighed a little bit, but not enough to get like a terribly low score. I thought the acting was fine. Like I said earlier, I enjoyed that final scene with Nolte being Nick Nolte, I guess. But the comic book paneling was bad, and it was throughout the whole movie.
And that shit drove me crazy too, because it wasn't even good transitions.
No,
it was just like,
and knowing that they had to film those scenes multiple times to be able to do this comic book paneling definitely hurt it. Because I feel like there was the scene when Talbot comes into talking to Bruce in the base or whatever and starts to shock him, cattle prod him. And I'm sure it's fine, but it definitely felt like the angles were wrong. Because he's standing there next to the mirror, looking back like this, and then it's showing this way, looking back at him, looking like that. But it felt like where the mirror was and where he was looking, the door should have been a different side. Like it felt wrong the entire time. And I feel like that's a byproduct of the multiple shooting, multiple angles, whatever. Either way, I gave this a 3.2. Like I said, it's not. I probably won't watch it again for a long time if I ever do watch it again. Because, like I said, I always get if it's under 5, I don't tend to rewatch stuff.
I would want to rewatch it.
Exactly. Like, I mean, I don't have to. There's a better movie with the Incredible Hulk, so like, fine. Plus, we're gonna be watching the Hulkverse animated movies here soon, and those are great. At least I remember them being great. Let's see if they actually are when we get to them. Because I remember this being good, and then I also remember all of the people like, "Oh, this movie's shit. Like it's crap. It's whatever."
It is kind of telling that this is not on Disney Plus.
Correct.
I mean, that's
You know
fair.
what
Yeah.
I mean?
I watched it on Peacock.
Like they were buying, they
So.
were trying to get it all together, and they pulled the X-Men and they pulled everything else, but they did not pull this movie.
No.
So
Nope.
yeah.
You're correct. So with our combined score, gives us a 2.43, which drops it in at number 76 out of 87. So it's definitely near the bottom of our list.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It is just behind Supergirl from 1984 at a 2.75, and just above Captain America from 1979 at a 2.5. Wait, that's 4.3. Sorry, my math is wrong. It's 77 out of 87. Behind Captain America and just above the Invincible Iron Man. You know,
Okay, that sounds about right.
The one that I couldn't physically watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So there we go. 77 out of 87. It's bottom 10. That's not great.
I mean, because it wasn't great, so that makes sense.
That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't love this movie.
So, got a couple quick announcements before we say our goodbyes.
Oh, shit.
Show's over. Show's canceled.
No. God, no. I got a whole year planned for this shit. If you are in Indiana and you happen to be listening to this episode right now, come check out Ron and I over at the Comic Book Rundown panel at the Comic-Con. In
they finally got back
We're
to
going to
you.
be hosting. They got back to me. We're going to be hosting a. I don't know the time though. Sadly, it's going to be Saturday. Just don't know what time.
Saturday the what? Saturday
the March. Be next week. The following week from time you're listening to this episode. March 23rd. We will be hosting a trivia for a comic book trivia with prizes. I'm trying to figure out what will be first prize and so on and so forth.
Joey's copy of the Hulk.
Everybody. Anyway, I actually did just get the whole of the Massiveverse trades, so I think that might be first prize because I do love the Massiveverse. So yeah, and we got some statues, we got some games. These are all prizes that you can get, posters. So if you, like I said, if you happen to be at Indiana Comic-Con next week, come check out the trivia. And if you are picked to be one of the people to participate, you potentially could win prizes. It'll be comic book movie trivia. So know your comic book movies. Might even have some stuff from my great book of notes here.
So that's a great idea. I have such good notes for movies.
If you're listening and you actually want to participate, maybe some of these questions might be from these notes. Just saying. Maybe we could convince Chuck to come down for that day and
I was legitimately trying to figure out when spring break was. Because I'd get in the car and go. I think that's also when Adepticon is. So
okay.
So that would be my break is the week before that. I'm pretty sure.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Yeah, because I wasn't able to go to help Tim
with
scream at people. Yeah, on Steam.
That's fair.
It's good that you guys still talk to each other, even though you're no longer contractually obligated.
But they are contractually obligated.
Technically, we are contractually obligated for 2 episodes, and he's dodging me. So he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to. He does.
He just wants to be your friend.
I'm just like, yo, gotta release 10 episodes. You free this week? Leaves me on red. Even fucking does not reply. Does not process anything.
You know,
nothing.
He did
you have to send him. I think you have to send him a video of you peeing.
That. Oh shit! Man, thank you for giving me an idea in about 20 minutes. Great. Thank you so much.
Oh, man. Alrighty. Chuck, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, Kicked Out of the Hood, No Eating Kicked. You can follow my hobby Instagram. I did a reel today at time of recording.
Hey!
Kicked Out of the Hobby, No Eating Kicked. And you can follow my kitchen reviews over at Kicked Out of the Kitchen on TikTok. No E and Kicked. Also, follow and help support the show. Head over to YouTube. Give us a like and subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications. Comment on this video and all the other videos. Let us know what you think. Just shit on us. We don't care. I mean, like, what are we gonna? Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, Chuck usually has to pay for somebody to shit on him, and if you can do it for free,
yeah, it's expensive too. A lot of people are not in that, or they're like way too into it. You know what I mean? Like it makes it weird for both of us. It's really awkward. You can also support this show directly by heading over to patreon.com/professional-casual. Hit that 301 tier. You know what? Fuck $1 tier. Fuck that Discord. And Pony Danza. Okay? Specifically.
Yeah, specifically fuck Pony Danza. He's a good guy. You should definitely try to fuck him.
You should try to fuck Pony Danza. That mustache is worth it. Trust me. That's it. That's all I got. Ron, where can I find you?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Good at This Game, and you can find my art stuff on Instagram at Good Art This Game. Joey?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Comic Rundown, Instagram Comic Book Rundown, Threads Comic Book Rundown, email us comicbookrundown@gmail.com, rate and review us on your podcasting app of choice or on any of the socials. We'll read them on an upcoming episode, maybe. We've got merch over on Redbubble and TeePublic, and our song was done by Cam. Our next movie, this is one I've never seen.
Ooh.
So I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Ooh.
It is A History of Violence from 2005. This is...
Oh, shit! Okay. I remember this movie.
Okay.
I remember this movie. Okay.
It's part of... I'm trying to remember exactly. It's from DC. DC put it out. Well, I mean, it's DC adjacent.
It was a Virgo, I believe, right?
I think. I'm trying to find my list of why are you... That's not right. I switched phones and everything is different now.
That's how phones work when you get a new one, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, like all of my saved stuff is not
where it should be.
Yeah. Paradox Press. So it's not Vertigo, but because Paradox Press is also what did Road to Perdition. So they're more, I don't know, real?
Serious?
I guess, yeah. So
we'll mark it at time of recording. We are gonna have to pay $4 to watch this. It's not streaming anywhere. They must.
Yeah, I saw that.
They must have hacked your old phone. I don't know what happened.
That could be why.
But, yeah, they saw. So you act like nobody else reads your list, but clearly every movie like studio reads your list, Joey. This is of course Viggo Mortensen, Ed Harris, Maria Bello, William Hurt, Heidi Hines, Ashton Holmes, and Stephen McHattie. I remember this movie. I remember my friends talking about how like rad this movie is, but it looks like a period piece. So I'm now I'm already slightly tapped out of it, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't. Never seen it, so
I've never seen it either.
7.4 out of 10 IMDb, 88% Rotten Tomatoes, and 93% Just Watch. However, I will say that the Hulk movie had a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes as well. So,
what?
No.
Yeah, yes, it does. Because I pulled it up earlier because when I was trying to find where it, unless it was 6.8.
I think it was 6.8 because when I was watching it on Peacock, it had the scores, and it was not great.
I'm like 90. Okay,
let's see.
What is happening?
Is it 5.6 out of 10 on? Is that no? Wait, no. We're talking about the Rotten Tomatoes. Okay. Where is that? You figure if the amount of time I spent on IMDb, I would know where all that's at.
You would think so.
Yeah, well, I don't.
Hold on. I just had it like 14 seconds ago, and now it's gone. Where to what? This is thrilling entertainment.
Yes, it is. We got this, guys.
Yeah, it's a miracle how it now just magically doesn't pop up reviews.
63% on tomato, and then that's tomato meter. The 29% audience score.
Yeah, so somebody thought this was good.
Not with 29%. Well, I guess with 63.
Can you just say 63?
For the I guess that would be the reviewers.
Right. So
Critics,
what were they
if you will.
smoking? They usually vote lower than
They were
Yes.
sucking some
Ang Lee Wang.
Ang Wang. Yeah, some Ang
that
Wang.
makes more sense.
All right, everybody. That's it for the show. Thank you all for listening. If you're
Bye.
at Comic Con, come find us.
Bye. See you later. It's easy from MCU. It's time for Joey to go.